Morning, Puma.
Good morning.
I see you're busting out the retro old school logo hat today.
I still like the old school logo. Sometimes you got to do it. Just gonna get one thing set up here. Where is it?
Cool. All right, we're gonna have some fun today. How about first of all, go Bucks, man. I know your favorite Tom Brady was playing last night, but you got to know that was a great defensive game from the Bucks. So I'm very proud of our boys.
It was. It was a little tough to see because I do it. I still, as much as I don't like Tom Brady, I do have respect for him and obviously what he's accomplished. But Drew Brees too, right? Drew Brees had such an amazing career. Knowing that was his last game and seeing him go out like that, I mean, obviously you could kind of tell by the way he was throwing the ball last night. He's done, but that was it was emotional, right? You could tell him, you could see it in his face like that. I can't imagine. I think about that a lot just as it relates to, my life. Like I remember that final college baseball game. I remember, I think about like what it's going to be like the last game I coach my kids. Like it's those last things, man. That's what you become, right? I mean, think about when in real estate, fortunately, is something we technically never have to retire from. But imagine like you just walking away from real estate one day, like this is my last deal. Like I don't know, like it becomes your identity, right? And so it was emotional. It was a very good game and very close all the way down to the end. So I'm happy to see
those
Tampa.
are two legends, man, of all time greatest in the game playing together, which is really kind of fun to watch. I was telling my son, he's 4. He won't remember it, right? Likely, but he'll hear about these guys playing. We were watching it last night, so it's kind of fun.
Well, even next week, you're going to get Rodgers and Brady on the same field.
That's right.
Now, I will say this: you guys aren't going to have the same type of game against a very good Aaron Rodgers compared to a retiring Drew Brees, but we'll leave that for the game next week.
It was good redemption because the one game I went to this year was the Saints Bucks game, the home game, Monday Night Football, where we got absolutely annihilated. It still hurts.
Yeah, that one hurt.
Especially with the ticket prices, to have to experience that as a result of it was not fun. So, all right. So now let's transition into the best of their game, and let's get the best of our game, right? Because really, how do they become the best of the game? The hours of practice and the hours of preparation, the hours of just dedication is unparalleled, and that's why they were where they are. So let's talk about this is going to be a fun class because we're going to go through all the different ways to generate leads. And I want to do a rapid fire, and I want some audience participation from this real quick. And you guys just firing back in to see what's actually going on and what comments you have, what questions that you have from each of these little topics that we're going to hit. So,
well, and first, let's give credit to the 33 people online and growing, but let's give credit to those people. This is, we're sitting here on MLK Day, right? And most people are just going to take this day and say, oh, it's a national holiday. It's fine. Like I'm going to take today, right? And that would be okay.
And easy.
But for the 34 now online, you guys are saying, no, things are good. Why take our foot off the gas pedal? You're showing up 8:30 in the morning to get better. So I just want to give you guys credit for that because there's a lot to be said about the best of all time, Brady, Brees. I remember Jerry Rice. They did a whole thing on Jerry Rice about how when they won the Super Bowl, they were cleaning out their locker the next day to get ready to go to the parade. And Jerry went right out and was on the field doing wind sprints and getting ready for next season already. That dedication is what you guys are showing right here today. So I want to give credit before we even dive in, but let's get into it.
All right. The first thing we need to acknowledge is the fact that a lot of people aren't working today, which means what are they going to be doing today?
They're going to be on social. They're going to be chilling.
Yep.
They're going to be
so let's figure
available.
I love your post today. Good job as always on that post, the daily post today. Very timely, very relevant, very nice. So let's talk about that. Like, what is if you need to get a deal by Friday, this is how I want to do today. If you had to get something by the end of this week, and we had to go from social, let's start there. What would you do? And then we'll go through what I would do. And then I want you guys to chime in what you're going to do. And then we're going to commit to take action so we all get a piece of business new by the end of this week.
Yeah, for me, obviously, if you're playing the consistency game of using the daily post or using your own content or following the daily marketing guide, you need to keep doing that. And one thing I haven't really talked a lot about, but I view that as being, for those of you that have ever worked out, it's all about progressive overload, right? Every time you come in the gym, you want to do a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And that's the same thing with social. So if you're playing that game, number one is if you've gotten to the point where you are in the cadence of doing stuff every day, see if you can't ramp it up even more, right? Progressively overload, keep doing more and more and more and more and more. That would be just a little piece of advice in general. As far as going out and getting business this week, guys, if you're going to use social, my number one favorite thing right now on social is to start conversations one-on-one. So I would go into my messenger inbox and start messaging one-on-one, strategically doing it, but I would start messaging one-on-one because there's a deal in your Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram sphere. There is a deal, probably multiple deals, but there's at least one deal sitting out there waiting to add, but you have to start communicating. So one easy way to do that, if you don't know who to pick, is if you are playing the game, let's say you took the post from this morning and you posted that out and you got engagement, or the post from last Friday, if you guys played that game with name a song that will never get old. I don't know about you. I mean, I got almost 60 comments on that one post, right? So that's 60 people right there that in my mind have kind of raised their hand to say, hey, let's talk, right? Not about real estate, but they've raised their hand to say, yeah, I'll play the game with you. I'll engage with you. So all I would do is literally go to that post. I have time. Yeah, I'm paying attention.
I'll play. Yeah.
Here's the thing. Social is a game of attention. That's it. By them commenting, guess what? You got their attention. That is them saying, hey, I'm paying attention to you. Now, all I have to do is go into that post, and under the reply button, there's also a button that says message. Click message and be like, hey, I love that song too. What's going on in your world? How are you? Boom. Start a conversation one-on-one. So, I am a big fan of taking social, which gives you this ability to communicate and connect at scale, but using it on kind of a one-on-one level. And so that's what I would do. I would just find ways to start connecting with people through social, but one-on-one.
You know what's been in my head since Friday? Our clubhouse meeting, right? So we did a really cool one. It's still mind-boggling. It was talking about how to write the perfect contract, right? And was kind of the theme. And we had some super heavy hitters, $100 million producers from San Francisco in our room chatting with us and talking about different best practices and all. And as this is what I think is relevant. If I were you, right now, and I wanted to get some business by this week, I would listen to what we're about to tell you about our conversation on Friday, and I would repackage that and I would repost this. And here's kind of what happened. We're saying, guys, this market's crazy. You guys, you've heard this from us before. Write the perfect contract above full price, 100% of the money in escrow, right? Closing, no contingencies, as is, closing tonight, right? And kind of in jest, right? Saying, hey, you got to get your stuff together and get with your lender, be bulletproof, and present the offer, right? And so we were kind of going down that path. And then one of the girls popped up and she goes, let me tell you what's going on in my market right now. When she puts in an offer for one of her clients, she has 45 competing offers on average every time she puts one in. 45. Now we're like, oh my God, I got 3 offers, multiple offers. That's like nothing. Literally 45 offers that she's competing with. And they have in California 135-page disclosure statements and all that stuff in the meantime. So she's like, when we go, it's 100% go time. There is not one I not dotted. There's not one T not crossed. There's not one thing that could give the seller any inkling of doubt of why they shouldn't take our offer. Talk about this for a second. Imagine this is not like one specific unique property. This is every buyer that she uses right now, 45 competing offers. So think about this for a second. How many of you know people, how many of you have buyers that have offered on a piece of property and have lost it? and didn't win? And how many people do you have right now? How many people in your sphere do you think have friends that are actively looking for properties that are frustrated because they lose out on offers, right? This is a rampant problem right now. And guys, we are in the junior leagues compared to what some of these Silicon Valley markets and LA's and these markets are doing, guys. It is unbelievable. So if I were you, I would go this, it kind of evolved into what would we do, right? So I believe if you love the buyer side, buyer representation is fantastic, guys. You know, I believe you should spend your time getting listings. But let's say you want to resist that for whatever reason, you want to be buyers, go ahead. Okay. But here's how I would do buyers. I would go out and say, hey, tribe, if you have anybody who's ever tried to buy a piece of property, is having a hard time because they're getting beat out, you can't find inventory out on the market right now, I have time for a couple of extra clients right now. I am available. Engage with me, hire me, and let's what I do. I am a Jedi master negotiation rock star. I'm a trained real estate assassin, right? And if you tell me you want to live in Oakberry Pine subdivision, I will find you a house. I will go door to door with every single owner in there. I will find out their entire scenario. I will find you somebody who's willing to sell in that in that neighborhood. I will go do that. And then when the time comes, here's what you need to do for me. I need to know your lender. I'm going to Zoom with your lender and you. I'm going to know everything about you. I'm going to know your loan program. I'm going to know. I'm going to make. I don't want to know these things, but I'm going to make sure your loan officer has every pay stub needed, has pulled your credit, has your full application, knows exactly the loan program, has sourced your funds, knows where your down payment's coming from, knows how much of a down payment you're coming from, has figured out what your insurance, what your debt to income ratio is, and you are rock solid, golden, bulletproof, ready to pounce. Because when I knock on Joe Blow seller's door, I can't say I have somebody that might be able to maybe buy your house. I have to show up with a new scenario saying, I have somebody who's never been better qualified ever, is rock solid, bulletproof, has absolute money, will guarantee you they have the money, will be as flexible as you want as far as a moving date. They really, really, really are interested. When can we talk? Would you even remotely consider selling this piece of property? Where would you go to next? Because as a smart agent, what do I now just find?
Potential listing too.
A double side listing sale and taking that seller and move them into another house. Okay. But notice how we did this. This is, I'm engaged probably with a buyer broker agreement, right? The buyers have 100% committed to me. There's no chance they're going to go to an open house and buy a house without me because I've sold my value as not a door opening monkey, like we joke about all the time, but as a trained real estate assassin, right? That's how I would position myself in the marketplace right now. Because guys, how many deals do we need a month extra? One or two? Tell me you couldn't just post this message with intensity, with conviction on a one-to-one basis, even through messenger or text message, and says, guys, I have one opening for a really committed buyer, right? Who in your world is trying to buy and is frustrated, can't find what they want? I'm really good at what I do. Let me know, right? Let's go down this path for a little bit. How would you get that message out? You as an agent, you're Mike Puma, real estate agent.
Yeah, I mean, I think number one, it starts with, again, having one-on-one conversations, right? As soon as you identify anyone in your sphere, putting it out there that you're willing to go do it, right? And then once you do it once, documenting that process. Like we talked to an agent during that clubhouse meeting, and he said, yeah, I've actually done that. I've actually gone and started knocking on doors, just trying to find anyone willing to sell in a neighborhood for a client. And I said, well, did you document that? Well, no, I usually talk about it after. It's not the same, right? If he grabbed his phone, if you guys are going to do this, document it. And I'm not saying like get Jonathan out there and film you. I'm saying literally grab your phone and say, hey guys, I'm sitting here in Shady Oaks and I've got a client who is bulletproof, but has not found the perfect home, but they want to live here in Shady Oaks. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to go knock on every single door in the neighborhood until I find them the home that they want in Shady Oaks. Boom, done. Then when you do it and that client, video the client with a testimonial. And when you push this stuff out there, guys, you are just demonstrating your ability. You're demonstrating how much better you are than anyone else. And I guarantee you, anyone in your sphere that sees that sees that you're working, sees that you're active, and sees how hungry you are is going to respect it, and they're going to flock to you. So just documenting what you're doing, documenting the process. One of the girls in the clubhouse said she literally filmed herself doing contracts, right? Like literally like sitting there like, this is boring, but I'm sitting here doing contract after contract or offer after offer. Guys, it's all demonstrating one thing, two things. One, you're in real estate, and two, you're working hard and you're actually working, right?
And it lets your personality fly through, right? I mean, have some fun with it. Say, dude, this is ridiculous. You guys have all heard the inventory is crazy low right now. I've got this client, and literally I've never seen somebody like salivate to want to live in a neighborhood as badly as these people. So rather than say, sorry, there's nothing on the market, I don't play like that. This is what I'm doing. They've committed to me. I know they're going to know everything about them. I'm going door to door, and I'm going through the internet. I'm going through all my systems and tools, and I am going to find the seller that's going to sell their house so I can get their butts living in this neighborhood. So watch this. This is awesome. And then the fun part is, as soon as we find a seller, I'm going to work with my negotiation skills, my ninja mastery, and I am going to make sure they get a great deal on it. So if you guys have anybody who's looking and can't find something, I got a little bit more time. I can kind of set an appointment with them, and I can go to work for them too. So watch this, guys. It's going to be a fun process. So I'll go live in a little bit when I'm knocking on some other doors, but tag a couple friends who you think need an aggressive agent like me. Have a good day. Bye. Right? Something along those lines that lets you come out, right? Not the polish. Hello, this is Jeff Beggins with Century 21. Today I am actually lead generation for my prospects. I'm looking for a property. That's boring and it's crap and it's not you, right? So be you. If you're in your yoga pants, go in your damn yoga pants, right? If you're gonna sing while you're doing, do it. But just let yourself shine through, because people are either gonna scroll past you because they don't want to see it, or they're gonna stop and watch because they like you, and then they're gonna engage, and then now you're into their tribe.
Well, and for those watching that say, oh man, I've done this before, I just didn't film it. Great. It's not too late. Mm-hmm. Go reach out to those past clients and say, hey, do you mind telling your story? Do you mind just giving, and maybe they even wrote a real satisfied review. That's great too. But if they're willing to, I'd much rather you say, hey, can we Zoom? And I'm going to record it. And I just want to ask you a few questions about the process with me. Get video testimonials anytime you possibly can. And Zoom, you have your own private Zoom room. Do you know how easy it would be for you to set up a 5-minute, a 3-minute, a 2-minute Zoom meeting with all your past clients after you close and say, hey, do you mind hopping on Zoom real quick? I'm really big on getting my clients to give reviews. If you wouldn't mind, hop on my Zoom room with me. Guys, it would take 2 minutes. You can record it. And now we just take that video, and now you've got video testimonials to use, because third-party stories work so much better a lot of times than you telling someone how good you are, right? So using reviews, leveraging the technology, you don't need to do it in person. You don't need to do it. You can do it via Zoom. We could do it right now. If Jeff was a client, we're recording this right here. And you could even stream it live to your YouTube channel. Like, it's all with the touch of a button. So like, just leveraging what we have and what we give you. We give you your own YouTube channel. We give you your own private Zoom room. Use them. And these are some ways that you can do it.
So this might be a post for maybe tomorrow too, or for the daily post, or do it right now. Look, enough is enough. I'm tired of hearing people complaining about there's not enough inventory and they don't have a house they want to move into. That's not how this works. You hire me. And guess what I do? I go find the house you want. I don't just sit back going through the MLS to hope something matches your need. That's lazy. And guys, there's nothing out there. Put them to work. Tag a friend who's frustrated with the buying process because they can't find what they want and inventory scarce. I will go to work. I will find you the house. I will find them the house. I will find you the house. I will not sleep. It will be relentless pursuit to make sure that you get this piece of property. So reach out to me. Tag a friend, private message me, shoot me a text message, do something, and do not accept mediocrity, guys. This is not right. I am good. I am here, and I will make time for you and your friends. Tag somebody, text me, call me. I will go get you the house that you want. Take advantage of these low rates right now. I don't care if it's investment property, primary residence. If you're looking for something, I will go get it for you. Have a great day. Goodbye. Right? That's the message, guys. And why not?
Yeah, it's easy. And it's free.
It's free. It's free.
So,
now, switch gears to sellers. I don't really want any buyers. Okay, don't have any buyers. How do you go just like cut through all of the BS and what do you say about I need sellers? Guys, here's the reality.
It's a very similar approach. Right? It really is. It's just asking. But you have to be present. You have to ask and you've got to connect. That's it. Right? So using the same tactics, using Messenger, using video, using your sphere and leveraging them, but you have to ask, you have to let them know, you have to use the influence in your life. Like we talked about the other day, going to that small circle of people that you know will be kind of your sounding board out in the public because they all know people that you don't know and leveraging them, but you have to ask them for the help. Otherwise it's not going to work. And then obviously finding ways to bring value to that group is only going to enhance that.
And make the message clear, guys. Here's what's going on. Where is the market right now? Okay. If this is the top of the market, are we at the top of the market or are we not at the top of the market? I don't know.
We don't
know. You don't know. We have no clue. Now there's many indicators that show that we're not at the top of the market, but there are a lot of people that think we are at the top of the market, right? Who's right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It honestly doesn't matter. So why don't you just call it out? Like all I can tell you, I don't know if we're at the top of the market or not the top of the market. All I can tell you is that the house that you're living in right now has never been worth more than it's worth right now. And the only reason it's worth more, as much as it is right now, is because interest rates are in the 2%, right? So if there's even a remote thought about maybe moving in the next year or two, if there's any shot that you can fast forward that plan, not only will you get more for your house, but you're going to be able to buy your next house at the lower rate, which is an all around the best financial decision you could ever make in your world. So if there's even a remote shot of you moving in the somewhat distant future, let's talk about and see if you can make it happen now. Not enough inventory? Don't worry about that. I'll go find the house for you. It's about you making the decision whether or not you actually want to move. And this is the conversation, guys. This is the post. This is the turn your video on. This is the message that you need to say, and it's free. It's free. Could you post one of these things out and start a community event? Could you promote a Zoom room about is it the top of the market and should I sell my house and post it on Nextdoor, right? Could you do a Facebook event for a discussion about this and set up a Zoom room and send your link out, guys, to make sure that you're the queen of whatever community you want to be working in right now. It's so simple. It's such a simple message, right? All we have to do is say it. You want to say it to people you don't know? Great, right? Broadcast it. Or if you want to say it to people you do know, great. Text it to them, video text it, do something on Messenger, do auto networks. There's no excuse for not doing it. And this will guarantee you get something by the end of this week. It's 0% chance that it won't. Comments, questions from you guys. Raise your hand, chat. We can pass a mic to you. We can turn your camera on. I want to get some interaction for you. I want to see what is stopping, if anything, you from doing these things, so we can take that block away and get you to make that post, get you to do that reach out. Love this, 100% doing it this week. Well, good. Now it's recorded and you have to. We're going to kick your butt and publicly humiliate you. Just kidding. No, but I love it. That's the whole point. And bring it on. Good. Guys, this is the simplest part of the world. So anything else we could do? How many of you little raise your hand? How many of you, like Christina, are going to say, you know what? I'm going to use a little bit of blind faith to Mike's post this morning. Blind faith. Just trust the next step is there, even if you don't see it. Would we ever tell you to do this if it didn't work? Guys, we get paid when you get paid. We like getting paid. So listen, right? When we say this, it works. So just do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Started it last week from the Listening Ninja class. Excellent, Brian. Glad to hear that. So post out there and let's go.
Right, so that's social.
There's one sphere.
That's one part of your sphere. Now, I would say a majority of our agents, especially our productive agents, are really leveraging past clients to get referrals and just repeat business, right? More probably than almost any other any other lane. So let's talk about that for a second, though. How do we get more? Right? Because I think for as good of a job as many of our agents do, it's human nature to kind of focus on the ones that we had the best relationship with, the ones that more recent, the ones that are easy to connect with because we can connect with them in the same way, right? So I know if Jeff is part of my sphere, I know that I can text Jeff and get a response, right? So it's easy for me because I prefer text too. So Jeff's an easy person in my sphere and my past client to actually connect with. So I'm going to connect with Jeff. Whereas with Craig, if he doesn't like text and he's a past client too, I'm not going to connect with Craig as much because now I've got to actually work and call Craig. And that's not my favorite thing to do. So a lot of times people like Craig get ignored or not touched as often, right? And so I think it's important for you guys.
Time out for a second, because I think that's an important part. Let's drill into that for a second. The reason why is because you give the drunk monkey an excuse. Because drunk monkey says, oh, well, if I call him, what's in my background, right? Is there my dog might bark? What if somebody knocks on the door? What if something happens so the yard guy comes? Or what if I call Craig and he's somewhere he can't really take the phone call? Is it intrusive? Is he doing something? I don't think I'll call him right now. I know he's working and I don't want to interrupt his work day. That's kind of rude. What am I going to go do? Right? So all of these things are valid, right? And all of those are reasons why you're going to say, you know what, I'll just, maybe I'll shoot him an email later this weekend or call him tonight, which you won't, right? But you let that get off you let yourself off the hook. And that's a big problem. Every excuse you have that has a wiggle room out, the drunk monkey will help you find the wiggle room. That's what I do like about text messaging, because it's the most obtrusive, rude, right? In your face marketing tool, because it has 100% open rate and it forces you onto people, but in a kind of nice way that I really didn't mean to interrupt you, because I know you could look at it when you want to, even though you have notifications on, and I know it's going to disrupt your thought process, and I'm going to just become top of mind anyway, just because I just interrupted your world, right? That's the reality of it, but it's not able to be ignored, and there's no delay, and there's no response. It's just click send, 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 or little context, click send, little context, click send, a little bit. Hey, what's going on? I saw some pictures of your new roof. That looks really cool. How are things? What's the dog? How are the kids? What's going on? Boom, something, right? So text takes the excuses away. Messenger really takes the excuses away because people look at it only when they have time. So that's a great point of the call reluctance is a killer.
Agreed. But at the same time, I think if you're going to do nothing, texting is obviously better than nothing, right? But I think that if I truly care about my past clients and I truly care about them, if I call you, you're going to get somewhat annoyed if every time I reach out to you, it's by phone call instead of text, right? It just is. Like, that's not your preferred mode of communication. So if you know that I know that and I keep calling you, that's almost a form of disrespect, right? So I just think at some point, if we really, really, really want to connect and build relationships with our past clients, you've got to communicate in the way that they want to communicate. If I really want Craig and Jeff to be stay with me forever, then I know I have notes in my CRM. And when I reach out to Craig to follow up, I'm going to call him. And when I reach out to Jeff, I'm going to text him. And maybe somebody else is a Facebook message. And maybe somebody else is a freaking letter that I had to hand write.
Yep.
Doesn't matter, right? But the point is that if I truly say, you know what, Jeff is worth it to me, right? The relationship, everything we've got, it's worth it. I'm gonna make sure that I enter your world. I'm gonna make sure I enter Craig's world in the way that they want to be communicated with. And so I just think that's super important. I think it's a way that for all of you to kind of take that follow up to the next level. And then it's how often are we doing it, right? And in my opinion, it should be very often, probably more often than what you're doing, because the reality is a lot of us are just either relying on the fact that, oh yeah, they'll call me. They'll reach out when they're ready. Guys, you're going to have that like couple that will, but for the most part, they won't, because they're humans and they're going to take the path of least resistance. And if you're not immediately top of mind, if you're not immediately one click away from them reaching out to you, they're not calling you, they're not emailing you, they're not texting you, right? They're going to take the path of least resistance when they're ready. And the fact of the matter is that even though the time span of people doing a real estate move has gone down to 5 to 7 years, that is still what you're going to reach out. I'm going to reach out to Jeff every 5 years. Like, think about how much has changed. Think about how much changed from 2019 to 2020. Never mind 5 years. So if I am doing this properly, I'm going to reach out, especially if we're segmenting our sphere like I know we've taught you to do, where you've got A, B, and C, and you've kind of got your top prospect or your top clients, your mid-tier clients, and then maybe you do have some people you never want to do business with again, and that's okay too. But if Jeff's in that top tier, I'm setting up a touch point with Jeff at least once a month.
Yep.
And it's not all real estate related. It might be, hey man, did you see that Bucks game last night? Crazy, dude. I can't believe it was so fun watching Brady and Breeze, because I know that Jeff likes football. Hey man, Florida had a good year. Sorry they didn't make it. That was tough. But hey, how's everything going? That's it, right? All it is connection. And I would just want to stay top of mind so that when Jeff decides, whether it's 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, that he's going to call me, he's going to text me. Why? Because I'm easy. I'm the path of least resistance when his mind.
I'm top of mind. You're top of mind.
Or when he's at the UF alum and I just text him about UF and someone there's like, yeah, I'm thinking about doing something. He's like, oh man, you should call my buddy Mike. Here, let me give you his number. Why? Because I'm top of mind. But if we only do it when we think they're going to be ready, we're just not doing it right. And while that may work on some, you're missing out on a ton of other opportunities. So I think when past clients are beautiful, they're obviously, in my opinion, probably the most valuable thing you have. It's the reason you work so hard to get the cold business, because once you get them in as past clients, then it should be easy, right? You've already got them. Now they're part of your sphere. But if they're not worked, if they're not connected to, if you don't continue to build that relationship, they're going to go away.
And let's talk about how simple it is now. Now, you could say the first Tuesday of every month is past client connect time. Go into your calendar on your phone and type in something and do a reminder that's recurs every month. And you're like, oh gosh, from 2 o'clock until 4 o'clock on the second Tuesday of every month is my reach out time. And then you have your list of past clients or your close sphere, and you go through, and guys, all you have to do is go check out their feed and like and comment and say, oh, how cool. You went to the garden, right? Whatever the hell they did, just comment on it. And then when they like or comment back, guess what? Now you just trick the algorithm that you're important. Now they're going to start seeing your daily feed tomorrow, right? Guys, it's that simple. It's just consistent, deliberate connection.
That's it.
And it's free.
It's free and it's super valuable, right? I think if you ask any of our top agents, what is the most valuable aspect of your business? They will all say their past clients, all of them.
Yep.
Right. So why are we not spending 99% of our time nurturing those? You worked extremely hard to get them to be a client to begin with. So once they become a past client, they're even more valuable than they were before, because they're the ones who are going to refer business. They're the ones who've experienced you. They're the ones that trust you, because they wouldn't have gone through the largest financial transaction of their life with you if they didn't. Right. So leverage that, but leveraging that can't be every 5 years when you think they might be up to something. It's got to be on a consistent basis, bringing value into their world and respecting it. So communicating with them the way they want to be communicated. I may love Facebook, but guess what? Not going to connect with Craig on Facebook. It's not going to happen.
That's
So
right.
if I want Craig to continue to be a past client, I have to understand how Craig's going to communicate and communicate with him the way he wants to be communicated with. Simple as that. Or I don't, and just need to be okay with the fact that Craig's probably going to use somebody else when he actually goes to do something.
Right. And you got to remember that Craig is worth $130,000. it's $130,000 lifetime value of a customer. So is it worth it to spend the second Tuesday of the month to say, oh, Craig, let me see my notes. Do not text, only likes phone calls. Sure, no problem. Hey man, what's going on? Hi. Not hard.
Yep.
$130,000. What's going on in your world? How's life? How are the kids? How's the dog? What's all that stuff? Have a good day. Oh yeah, the market's crazy right now. It's nuts, man. There's no it's sick. People are in big trouble right now because they want to move because their house is worth more than they've ever been. There's just not much inventory. So my business model's changed completely. I'm like a trained assassin now. Somebody tells me they want to live on so and so street. Guess what I do? I'm banging down doors. I'm doing all kinds of things. And once we find a house, then it's just relentless contract mastery just to get in the house. It's nuts. How's your business? What's going on with your world? Right. So many little nuggets dropped in just that one statement. I don't ask for a thing. It's going to probably lead to a question or two. So, wait. What's going on in the market right now? If they're interested in the market, or it's just going to float on by and then he's not in the market. But at least I earned some equity in his brain being top of mind. So this is the fun part, guys. So there's your past clients. There is your sphere. There's your social. Let's go hit some more.
Let's do it. What do you want to hit next?
What I don't think there's any, there's so many things we could hit, but I go into my head, if I'm sitting with you, any one of you right now, and I'm sitting right next to you, and I'm saying, what are we going to go do to get business today? I would just do what we just did. I mean, I seriously, because there's no investment on. I didn't say call Zillow and break out $1,500 and buy some leads to find a bunch of people that are frustrated because they can't find anything, right? Why would you do that? If you had the choice, I would rather just go tap into your asset that you have right now, which is everybody you've ever met up until this point in your life is a huge asset, right? Let's monetize that asset. And that's the advice that I would give you right now. But if for some reason you're going to resist doing the easy, effective, awesome, simple lead generation strategy, you can go down the paths of more resistance if you want to, which is fine. But let's touch on that in case you want to do that. If you're like into self mutilation, self real estate mutilation. Right?
Oh, listen, it's definitely harder. Everything else that we will discuss is harder to do than what we just talked about. There's no question. However, there are still lesser evils within those things, right?
All right. The least amount of evil.
Working for sale by owners, expireds, and absentee owners, in my opinion, is still less resistance than going and just randomly door knocking. Or
no doubt about it.
Right. So I think there's still path of least resistance. Now, is that still harder because you're dealing with strangers than if I'm going to reach out to people that already kind of know me, trust me? Yeah, sure it is. But is it easier than knocking on the door of someone I have no idea who's on the other side? Yeah, I think it is easier than that. So, for those of that want to work absentees, that want to work for sale by owners, if you're in Tampa, guys, and you want to work for sale by owners and you are not leveraging RealSure and some of the tools we've put in place that give you more reason than ever before to reach out to someone. Now, do they need to take that offer in today's market? No. Are for sale by owners tough right now because they're probably selling? Yes. Do I think that if you sell it right, you can sell your value more than ever to a for sale by owner? I do, because I think we focus so much on the actual, hey, you need me to go list your home. No, they don't. They don't. Not in today's market. They don't. They're going to put a little sign up in their yard. And normally where that takes a long time, they don't even need to have great pictures right now, but the home is together and there's a photo that shows what it kind of looks like, and people are going to flock to it because there's not much else to buy. Okay. So they don't need you for that. They could pay someone $100 to go on the MLS. They don't need you for that either. But if you sell your value on the fact that, hey, Mr. Seller, do you realize though that the biggest value I actually bring you is when those offers come in? How do you know which offer you should take? Did you know there's actually a difference between the offers? Did you know that there's certain disclosures that if you don't do, you are in major legal trouble? or could find yourself in legal trouble very quickly. So if you actually start demonstrating your value as an agent, the things that they don't think about, now all of a sudden they actually, in my opinion, they need you now more than ever because they are
And
going to get 5 offers.
let's talk about this because you need to cut it out right immediately. It's called inoculations, right? An inoculation is to give them a little bit of what they're going to give you back, right? So here's the deal. If you're a FSBO, and I love how you do it, you got to reframe this and just say, look, knock, knock, knock. You do not need me to list your house. You do not need me to market your house, right? You do need me, right? Or here's the value I bring to you. And what is it? It's agency is the first and foremost, most important one. Full disclosure, obedience, loyalty, confidentiality. Those 4 things are priceless if you actually know what you're doing, right? If you actually are taking the time to say, wait a second, why would you sell this property for? There was a client, actually an old agent of ours that's got out of the business probably 15 years ago, called me and she said, hey, we have this lot for sale and we want to sell it. I said, great. And I was talking to my dad about it because he's got a lot right around the corner for sale. And I said, what do you think it's worth? He goes, it's worth probably 650, 700,000 just for the dirt. Right. And so he was going to put that on the market. She said that another agent told her it was worth 510,000 bucks. Okay. Now it's not, it's a 90-foot waterfront lot in Madeira Beach, deep water, right? No bridges, no problem right out to the Gulf of Mexico. 90 feet. Most lots are 50 feet. So if this was a 50-foot lot, it was worth 500,000 all day long, but it's worth at least that. And so she said, you know what? I don't think we want to do. Long story short, she sold it for 510, but she didn't pay a commission. She didn't really want to pay the commission on it. Now I'm pissed because I should have bought it for 510 and just immediately put it on the market for 699, right? So did she get away with not paying a commission? She sure did. Did she leave 100-something thousand bucks on the table? She sure did, right? Because she didn't understand the nuances of the seawall and the extra longevity and how long, what per price per square foot, what was the linear footage of seawall, what is the valuation? They just don't get it. So it's analysis.
What else did that do though?
It screwed the neighborhood. Screwed the neighborhood.
Yeah, big time. Huge. So if you're a listing agent in that neighborhood, guys, if you are a listing agent in your neighborhood and you see a for sale by owner pop up and you are not doing everything you can to get that for sale by owner at the highest price possible, even if that means, hey, Mr. For sale by owner, listen, I've got a lot of listings in this neighborhood. Maybe you have one right now. Maybe you just sell a lot in that neighborhood. And it's very important to me that you get the highest price possible, because if you don't, it actually hurts my business. So I'm being a little selfish here, but if you need help reviewing offers, making sure that you get the best offer possible, please let me know and I'm happy to help you. It is in your best interest to do that so that someone doesn't get stupid, doesn't get screwed, doesn't do something that could potentially tarnish your business moving forward or hurt any sales that you have, anything pending, any comps, anything. It's just in your best interest to make sure that you're doing that. And I think in the meantime, if you're actually doing that, you're actually probably going to pick up a couple of extra listings in there because eventually they're going to realize the value and hire you.
Right? So let's be super contextual about this for a second, right? So you're Mr. FSBO. I'm knocking on your door. I'm acknowledging the fact that the market's hot and you don't need me to list it. You've got a million different ways to quote unquote list your property. So the value I bring to you is I know this market like back of my hand. I know every speck of sand in the whole planet, on the whole town, right? Nobody has the knowledge. So tap into me and let me be a resource to you. I don't want anything from you at all, right? You will get offers because this market is really good and I want to look at them for you, right? I could refer you over to our title company if you want to get somebody to handle it for you. And I don't want a penny from you. I want to make sure that you don't get screwed because a lot of offers look really good, but the devil's in the details. And you're my neighbor and I'm here to help you. So please store my phone number and just save me in there, Jeff, real estate neighbor, buddy, right? And then text me, call me if you get anything, shoot it over. Again, I want nothing from you. I'm happy to help you in any way, shape, or form. If you happen to find somebody who doesn't really want your house, would be honored if you tell them I'm a great agent in the marketplace. I could find them something else, right? So whatever, I don't even care if you do that, but call me back, let me know what I can do to help you, and have a great day. Guys, that is the entire for sale by owner pitch right now, because they know the rest of the pitch. They're expecting the rest of the pitch. They're anticipating the rest of your pitch. So don't give it to them, right? They're expecting you to say, well, you need an agent, 99% of you for sale by owners, blah, 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 all that stuff that they just don't want to hear because they want to try it on their own. That's why they went to Home Depot, bought the sign and the Sharpie. Let them try it on their own. And it may work and it may not work. It doesn't matter. So as they go through that process, they're going to get frustrated or they're not. They're going to want to give up or they're not. They're going to want to list it or they're not. And there's nothing you can do to influence those three things. It's going to happen or it's not. Now, what you're doing is being positioned for the moment that they say, I'm aggravated. I don't want to do this. I want to list it. The three questions. Can I trust you? Are you good at what you do? And do you care about me? So they blink and they search and they say, gosh, who do I like? Who's good at what they do and who cares about me? It's a quick subconscious search and your picture either pops up or it doesn't. Game over. That's it. End of story. There is no other secret for sale by owners except for, honey, I know I'm tired of it. I know we got people tramping through our house. I know there was dog shit on that one guy's shoes. I know it's aggravating you. I know you're pissed off. I know you wanted to go do this and it's ruining our weekends. All right, I'll hire an agent. Who should I go hire? Boom. Right? That's it. That's the end of the story. And you're going to be selected or you're not. But if you're not connecting and bringing value, giving them the FSBO guide, right? Offering to look at their contract, helping them out. Say, look, why don't you guys go to the movies, walk on the beach? I'll sort an open house for you. If something happens, I don't want anything from you. I'll help you write your contract. But at least I'll find some other buyers in the neighborhood. What can I do to bring you guys some value? Nothing right now? Great. Talk to you next week. Bye. Make a note. Talk to them next week. Make a note. Talk to them next week. If they sell, high five them. Right? Whatever. What did you lose?
Yeah.
Nothing.
And I think it's important that script, right, works in multiple formats. So it works if you're knocking on the door and they answer, but it also works if they don't, because then you just grab your phone, you give that exact speech to your phone, videoing yourself, and then guess what you do? You look at the sign behind you with their phone number on it and you text them that video.
Yep.
It will work 100%. And it'll work better than if you just shot them a normal text. But today I'm with Century 21. Do you know what the best thing about Century 21 is? They all know you're in real estate the second they see it. Do you know what the worst thing about Century 21 to a for sale by owner is? They know you're in real estate the second they see that. So if you just say, hey, I'm with Century 21, how are you? Instantly they're going, realtor. Nope, don't want to talk to them. Yep, that's it, right? So if you actually shoot them a video that gives them context of why you're reaching out, and all of a sudden you have a different approach and you're actually bringing value and not just reaching out to reach out as another realtor is telling them stupid, you're actually going to give yourself a much better chance. And guys, worst case scenario, if that neighborhood is super important to you from a listing or buyer perspective, you're putting yourself in a position to be thought of in real estate and to make sure that your potential future listings and future clients don't get screwed by them doing something stupid.
The other thing, I was talking to another agent the other day that here's what's working on FSBOs. We just did an experiment to see how it's working. And it's getting some really good traction. Go to the for sale by owner and first go online, figure out their information, do a cute little flyer, right? It costs you nothing. You could do it in Business Builder, right? Just do whatever you want to do on Canva, I don't care, right? But you got a cute little flyer about their house. Go to them, do your little speech and say, look, can I help you find a buyer? Right? If I were to bring a buyer, what does every for sale by owner say? 95% of them, dude, bring me a buyer, I'll pay you, right? They love you. They want you to do that side of the business. They don't see the value on the listing side yet, but that's okay, right? So, hey, look, I got this cute flyer. I actually gave you a few of them. It has your number on it. It's fine. I just want to give these to you. You can hand out to prospective people. Let me ask you a question. Would it be okay with you if I actually went around and see if I could find a buyer for you? Right? What are they going to probably say? Hell yeah, I'd love that. So what if you acted as if it were your listing, and just like we do our just listed door knocks in the neighborhood, and just say, hey, this is Jeff Beggins, Century 21. Listen, do you guys know that Johansson's house around the corner is for sale? It's a 3-3. It's absolutely gorgeous, and it's only $389.9. And I was kind of curious if you guys had an opportunity now to pick your own neighbor. Who do you know that might be interested in moving into the neighborhood? Right? How about you guys? When do you plan on moving? How long have you lived here? Where'd you move from? How'd you ever pick this area? If you were to move again, where would that be? When would that be? Hi, knock, knock, knock. Hey, Chef Eggs. I just want to know that your Hans's house on the neighborhood over on Oak Street. It's a 3-3 listed for 389. I was wondering who do you guys know that might be interested in moving to the area, right? How is that going to hurt anything? Is that going to hurt anything at all? It gives you something to talk
No.
about that's relevant, especially if it's in a neighborhood that you want more business in. Knock it out. Bring some value. What is that for sale by owner going to think? Dude, I got somebody out there working for me. They're going to knock on doors, and likely, guys, somebody in the neighborhood knows somebody that might be wanting to move into the neighborhood. And it's one of a major core pillar in this industry. So if you're, especially if you're new, you don't have a sphere, you don't have a social following, you don't have really much going for you right now. You've got absentee owners and you have for sale by owners. You need to go talk to people you don't know and build your following, right? So there's your path if you don't have anything going in this marketplace, or if it's a neighborhood you really want to break into and you don't have much going on there, go find the FSBO, go align with them, talk to them, give them some value. And I mean, guys, it's an asset for you to leverage on that.
Well, and keep in mind, guys, you do this for a living, and think about how annoying a majority of your transactions are to get all the way through them completed, right? And at the end, you're like, because it was a lot of work, right? So now take you and everything you know, your expertise, everything of being a professional in this industry, take that out the window and imagine somebody going through that same process without that background and experience. So at the end of it, even if that for sale by owner sells that home, if you brought them value, but they sold that home entirely by themselves and they get through the transaction, do you think they're really going to recommend when a friend says, hey, I saw you just saw your house, who'd you use, right? I'm thinking about selling mine. Do you really think they're going to be like, yeah, you should do it yourself? That's what I did, and it was great. No, they're probably going to be exhausted from going through that process their own. And they're going to say, hey, call Jeff. And trust me, I did it myself. You know, it wasn't fun, but Jeff worked extremely hard. If I had to do it again, I'd use Jeff. I guarantee you most for sale by owners, if they had to do it again, would use an agent if they sold their house completely themselves.
Especially if they knew it wouldn't cost them anything. And
yeah.
I would maybe lead with the fact that the worst thing that can happen to you is you sell your house in the first day. Right? And guys, I can't stress this right now. Do not get excited about quick sales because you're leaving money on the table in this market right now, in this low inventory, in this tight market right now. So it might be better off for you to explain escalation clauses and explain the value of really vetting the lender and really shortening down the loan approval period, making sure the escrow is strong, making sure that everything is tidy, making sure they're using the right contract form, making sure everything's in place, guys, because why would you put a house on the market to take it off the market to sit around for 30 days and hope and pray the guys get all their ducks in a row and they can actually get their mortgage together and the loan officer does their job. And 30 days from now, they tell you whether or not they can afford to buy your house. That's just stupid, right? It's just dumb agenting. It's a not right thing to do, especially in this marketplace right now. So we've got to get a lot sharper on our pre-qualifications, especially when the offers come in on our listings to say, let me look at this. Where's your pre-approval letter? Who's the lender? What's their cell phone number? What's their phone number? I'm getting on the phone call. Seller don't even accept this as an offer yet. Let me vet it out and let me figure out what's going on. Especially at multiple offers, do the whole thing, put out the spreadsheets, compare them back and forth, and do it, guys. This is huge, right? Hugely important. For sale by owners might think they're just the most genius marketers in the world because they put their lot on the market for 510 and it sold quickly, right? And they just left $170,000 on the table, right? And it aggravates me. I feel terrible. I don't care about not getting the cash. I care about them being screwed, right? And then that having a ripple effect on the entire market because now that's just going to record as a comp, right? A 90-foot lot comp at that. So cut that in half. That means that everybody other's 50-foot lot is worth like under 300,000. Way to go. Why don't you just screw your entire neighborhood? Good job, right? And that's just not the right thing to do. Couple comments on this one. Lee Gregory, love it's great. You have 90 FSBOs. Go get them. Get them, get them, get them. I got a good friend in Lake City sell their mother-in-law's home by their own by sharing the FSBO guide. Cool. He called along the way with questions and I assisted. He says, and there's folks moving to the Tampa area, and he's going to be sending them your way. There you go. You're just, guys, they were going to do it on their own anyway. You just got a positive asset deposit on that one. So cool.
A couple minutes left. If anyone has questions, concerns, ideas, anything, share them, raise your hand, and we're happy to.
While you're typing in canceled listings, guys, hit those two. Old expireds, hit them, because life might have changed. Maybe they were getting divorced and they thought they were going to get along, and now they realize they don't like each other again, and it goes back on the market. Right? There's stuff that's going on. Maybe they lost their job, their business was okay, they thought they were going to make it, and then they can't make it anymore. Right? Who knows? And then trust analytics, guys. This is the one thing is going to be my final push for absentees. Do you think big data is real? Yeah.
No.
Do you think that there's something to these algorithms? Yes. Okay. So
they're listening too.
Yes. Every one of our phones is listening to us right now.
Yeah, they're listening.
So they know when you're pregnant, not pregnant, divorcing, not divorcing, buying, selling, doing something different. So guys, trust the Remind scores. They might not be perfect, but there's certainly an indication that there's something going on in that person's world that they are highly likely to be one of the next ones to sell next. Maybe they've been to Home Depot a bunch of times. Who knows what's going on? Maybe their credit cards are crazy. Maybe they've got a lot of medical bills coming in. Who knows what's inside their algorithm, but all of those things are, right? So trust the high sales scores, trust the medium sales scores, trust the low sales scores, because the low sales scores are better than a no sales score, right? Along the process. So if you're going to start picking and choosing who to go talk to from an absentee owner perspective, do that. All right, couple questions.
Said, what are the best resources to dig up for sale by owners? My favorite is actually, I mean, obviously there's multiple places. My favorite is just going to Zillow.com. And when you do a search based on wherever you're trying to work, right, whether that's zip code, neighborhood, drill down as much as you can, but you can actually segment that out by just for sale by owners and find them. And one of the reasons I like Zillow too, is if you scroll down, you're actually going to get their phone number. 99% of the time, they're going to put that in there.
If you want to go hardcore on FSBOs, which I believe you should, and expireds, you can buy services like the Red X and Vulcan 7. They'll pull every for sale by owner in the markets for you and give them to you. So you could just get the list of every new one that pops up. They do the scrubbing for you. So if this is going to be one of your pillars, just subscribe. The Red X or Vulcan 7, they're both really good platforms to do that. So check those out. TheFSBOguide.com is your answer for that one. TheFSBOguide.com is where the FSBO guide is hanging out. It's also in our app too. Temporary off the markets. Share with those, they're pretty much temporarily off the market. So there's still most of the time in a listing agreement attached to those. So they're just off for a little while. So I wouldn't worry about those. You want to do canceled, unconditionally withdrawn, canceled. You want to make sure that the listing agreement with the prior broker is terminated. It is gone. So you have no ethics violations, because we cannot talk to anybody who's been listed with somebody else. That is currently listed with somebody else. As soon as that listing is canceled or expired, fair game. But if it's temporarily off the market, there's probably still a contractual relationship in the back there. Other agents I'm working with right now, they are focusing in on adding a specific search in the MLS for seller not represented and limited service listing agreements. So basically it's the people that paid the guys $150 to put in the MLS, and they're listed there. But if you see exclusive right of sale or exclusive anything, you can't touch them. But if they're limited service and seller not represented, you can actually go reach out to those people and sell the next level representation to them. So those are other good ones to hit, because they're the closest to appreciating full representation. They just have zero representation right now. So your angle with those guys is talking about agency, single agency, and all the stuff you bring to the table on that. Cool. Well, I think we rapid fired about 872 different topics today, but I think it was hopefully valuable for you guys. So happy Martin Luther King Day to everybody, and reach out if you need anything. If you guys are on Clubhouse at 2:30, Puma and I have a class going on today, digging deeper and more about this topic. And if you need invites, I got a few sitting around.
Yeah, I do too.
I just got. So if you need invites, let us know.
But you have to, here's the key, guys, go in and create your account. So go to Clubhouse, go to the app, download it, go in and create your account, get a username, Once you do that in your connection with Jeffrod, then it'll give us the ability to invite you. We can't just randomly invite you like that either. So you need to go in and create an account.
Right. And it's still Apple only right now. So iOS only. So
It's still Apple only at the moment. Yep.
So very good. And Lauren says she
Cool.
has an invite as well. So we'll get you guys in. Have a wonderful day, guys, and make this the best week you've ever had. And it's your decision whether or not it's going to be. So just take some action on the things we talked about today and go get some inventory. Pop some signs up, guys.